Hey y'all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. And if you're new around here, hello and welcome. My name is Katie Marie and I am a lover of eyeshadow palettes. And today's video, I want to talk about all of the eyeshadow palettes that are on my wish list, have been on my wish list, I took off of my wish list. They might be there because I watch YouTube a little bit too much. We're just going to have fun and talk about a bunch of palettes that are on or were on my wish list. But before we dive into it, I do want to let you guys know that this is a collab video. I am collaborating with the Beauty Reviewer here on YouTube. If you do not know her, I will have her link down below. She has been a long-time supporter of mine here on my channel. I cannot remember when I first started seeing her name, but she is always there supporting me in the comments and watching my videos. And a couple months ago, I started watching her channel. If you guys like Shop My Stash and very creative type of videos, just talking about the makeup that you do have in your collection. If you enjoy project panning, she does a lot of project panning, so that is definitely something I would recommend you check her out. If you enjoy project panning, she does Will I Buy It, and she has a very well-rounded channel, especially for those people who are looking to use their collection and want to focus on, Shop My Stash and project pans and stuff like that. So I will have her channel linked down below and I highly recommend you check her out. But today we are going to be collaborating on the video together, and she had the idea to do the wish list tag for our video together. Now I will leave the creator of the tag down below in the description box so you can check her out and check out her original video. But this tag looked like so much fun, and automatically whenever I hear anything, any kind of tag, anything about makeup, always the first answers that come to mind are palettes. So we're going to talk about a bunch of palettes that are on or were on my wish list, as I already said. So before we jump into that, I do want to do my Instagram shout out for today. And today is going to go to Imaginary Cosmetics. She commented on my most recent post over on Instagram. So thank you so very much for leaving me such a sweet comment and always interacting with my posts and leaving comments. I really do appreciate it. And you are my Instagram shout out for today. And per usual, if you want a chance to be featured as my Instagram shout out at the beginning of my videos, all you have to be doing is following me on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 and interact with my posts as they go up, and then I randomly select someone when I sit down to film. So now with that intro out of the way, let's jump right into the questions. Alright, I'm going to move over here because since these are all wish list products, I don't have any of them in hand to show you, so I'll be putting them over here on the screen as I go along. But the first question is the oldest product on your wish list. And this is really hard. I should say all of this in general is very hard because when I have a wish list, I don't really keep a list documenting it. I just have it all up here in my brain. So when I had to sit down and answer these questions, it took me a while to figure out what I would put for them, because one of them is a product you always forget about on your wish list, and I'm like, well, obviously I forgot about it. So anyway, I did my best here. I tried my hardest to think back and answer these as accurately as I can, but like I said, just keep in mind I don't have an actual wish list that I keep track of. It's just all up here. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. Getting back on track, the oldest product on my wish list has to be the Certify Affinity 2 palette. This palette, while I don't think I'll ever get it, I think it will forever remain on my wish list because you guys know I love greens and I love a beautiful mix of blue and greens. It's just so very pretty. I got it going on my eyes today, even though the blue is a little bit understated. It's still blue-green look and I really do like it, and I just love that mix. It's just so beautiful when I mix blue and green together. So anytime I see the Affinity 2 palette, I'm just like, but I kind of still want you. However, I don't think I'm going to get it just because it's been so long since this launched. But I mean, for the sake of this video, it is a palette that has been on my wish list ever since it was released. How many years ago? 3, 4, 5? It feels like forever, but ever since it did launch, I was like, ooh, I want that. And I just never got it, never picked it up, never placed an order. And I don't, like I said, I don't think I'll ever get it because it is such an older palette, but still, anytime I catch sight of it, there's a part of me that still wants it. So hence why it remains on my wish list. Okay, question number 2 is the newest product on your wish list. This I actually just discovered this morning. I was browsing, as I always do, when I was waiting for a grocery pickup, and it is from a brand called For Art's Sake. That's the brand name, and it is called the Aesthete palette. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I butchered that. But anyway, it is this palette right here. There's just so much about this palette that really intrigues me. I love the mix of yellow, green, and blue, and it has that really dark color on the outer edge, or bottom right, to deepen up a look. And the colors look very vibrant and bright. It looks really nice. And another thing that I saw just briefly as I was looking at this brand, because this brand is totally new to me, but they apparently donate a part of their proceeds to different charities, or maybe it's just one charity, but it sounds like they might change it up either every month or from time to time, but they donate a part of their proceeds that they get from their brand. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, the newest product on my wish list goes to this palette I can't pronounce. Anyone, if you want to help me, feel free to, although I will say, even when people break it up on how you pronounce it, sometimes I still struggle. It's just... Question number 3, a wish list item you keep forgetting about. This one is another one, I had to think so hard because obviously if I'm always forgetting about it, it's going to be pretty hard to remember in the spur of the moment when I was answering these. So it took me a couple days to try and figure out which one would come to mind, and I felt like went there the best, but it had to go to the Tarte Spicy Veg palette. I still think about this from time to time, but this is definitely a palette I totally forget existed, and I totally forget about my want for it until I see it scrolling or something like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a palette that I still kind of want. So I figured that kind of qualified it to be a palette that I keep forgetting about it, because even though I don't think I'll ever get it, there's just, anytime I see it, those colors in that palette really draw me in. I don't have the best experience with Tarte in like recent years. I used to love Tarte back in the day when I was all into the neutral, but when we're talking about color, I'm not as into Tarte because they don't really do color, period. So with this palette, I was tempted to try it because it is so vibrant looking in the pan. I was curious to see if Tarte could do color, but I just never got it, and at this point I feel like it's a little too late. So yeah, that's gonna be probably remaining on my wish list until it gets discontinued or something, because I don't think I can ever remove it from my wish list, because I really do like the colors. I'm attracted to the colors. I really love the color story, but I don't know, I don't think I'll ever get it. But anyway, to answer this question, it's definitely one that I forget even exists until I happen upon it scrolling on Ulta and I'm like, oh yeah, I want that palette. Question number 4, products you're glad you removed from your wish list. This is going to be the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. I feel like this palette has been on my wish list ever since it came out because I just saw so many gorgeous looks with it. However, recently Bad Habit duped the palette to make it more affordable, and ever since I saw Bad Habit's palette of it and I was like looking at the colors, because with it being Bad Habit, wait, is it called Bad Habit? Alter Ego. Oh my goodness. I get those two brands mixed up. I'm sorry. Alter Ego. Alter Ego recently duped it. It's like, oh, you know, it's affordable. I could pick it up. And so I was looking at the colors and just like really looking at what was in the palette, and I was like, I don't really want it anymore. And so ever since that, I was like, okay, Katie, it's more affordable, and now that you've actually looked at the colors, you don't want it. So like, I'm never gonna let myself spend over $100 on a palette that I'm not attracted to the colors. So I was finally like, okay, Katie, you've seen it here. You can get it if you want it, but you don't want it. So therefore, you need to take that off your wish list and just leave it alone. So I am leaving it alone. Even though anytime I see someone do a look with the grungy greens in that palette, I want it again. But I'm not going to buy a palette that's over $100 just for like 3-4 colors. That's a bit extreme. Question number 5, a wish list item you can't get by you. Okay, this question was a little tricky because I feel like at least all the brands I know, like I'm able to purchase them and just have them shipped to me. It's a little bit more expensive, but I'm still able to buy from them. So I wasn't really sure how to answer this. And then I was like, well, you know what? It says by you. So I started looking more at the UK brands that I am really attracted to, or that I bought from, and that sort of thing. And I settled on Lethal Cosmetics. Lethal Cosmetics is a Germany brand, so it's not really that close to me. And it is definitely a brand that I love. I actually have their highlighter on today. It's the Isotope highlighter. I really love this. I also have single shadows from them. I got their Hive collection that I absolutely love. And they have come out with gel liners, like neon gel liners, that I really want, but I didn't get because the shipping overseas was so expensive. So I feel like that was the reason I was like, okay, that can go there because it's not by me. And that's one of the reasons I didn't place my purchase, or didn't place my order with them, because I think the shipping to get even, I think I was going to get 2, or maybe it was just 1 gel liner. It was like over the price of the product. And I was like, okay, Kitty, just like either hold your horses, wait till the shipping goes down, or wait until you want to buy enough from Lethal Cosmetics to make the shipping worth it. So I didn't buy it, but Lethal Cosmetics is definitely one that anytime they drop something new, I'm always excited. I'm always curious to see. They just came out with lipsticks that I am kind of wanting to get, even though heaven knows I don't need more lipsticks. But anyway, all that aside, Lethal Cosmetics is a brand that's not by me, that I really do like and I do enjoy purchasing from, and I really like their products. Question number 6, products on your wish list you'll probably never buy. This one I'm going to go with Lunar Beauty's Moon Spell palette. This palette, anytime I look at the colors in the palette, I want it. Like, the colors themselves look so, so pretty. I remember when it first like showed and sneak peeked, I was totally interested in it because Manny's lighting, I don't know if he's improved, but it always washes colors out. So it looked like a very pastel light palette. But actually, when people got it and started doing looks with it, it's a very kind of grungy tone palette. And I was just like, wait a minute, I totally want that. But I don't think I'll ever buy it because it is, I don't like the theme of it, with it being witches and stuff like that. It's just not for me personally. So it's nothing that I want to buy and bring into my collection or my home. So yeah, while I am insanely attracted to the color story in the palette and the colors and the looks that I could create, anytime anyone creates a look with it, I'm just like, oh yes, that is so pretty. I know I'm not gonna ever buy it. Question number 7, wish list item you'll probably buy next. Look at them knowing I'm already gonna buy something off my wish list. This one's gonna go to the Glam Light ice cream palette. It actually launches tomorrow, so when you guys are seeing this, it'll already been in the past because I'm filming this on a Friday and this is going up Monday, but it's launching tomorrow on a Saturday, and I still have yet to decide if I'm going to buy it or not, because like I really want it. I'm very attracted to the color story because it's pastels, but it has a lot of other colors to give it more variety, more depth. It's not just like those wash of pastel colors. I'm very attracted to the color story. It doesn't have enough greens and whatnot, but still, overall, I just like the interest that I see within this, and I feel like I could get a wide variety of looks and not just like, you know, pastel washes of color. So I'm very, very intrigued. But do I want a really big palette to review right now? Not really, because I do have a lot of palettes. I have the Whirly palette, which is the suitcase right here from P. Louise that I'm reviewing right now. So I'm trying to talk myself out of it, but not gonna lie, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a palette I cave on and I go ahead and buy and do a video on or something like that, because at the point of me filming this, I still haven't decided, but I feel like I'm probably going to end up buying it. So that's why I included it for this question. Question number 8, wish list item you added from watching YouTube. This was a really fun question. I picked the I think it's Muse Beauty Impressionism palette. This palette, I remember when I first saw it on Indie Makeup Spotlight and I talked about it on Will I Buy. I was like, oh, this is really pretty, but you know what? It's a new brand. The color story, like, it looks fun and different, but it's just not that interesting for me. And I kind of anti-held. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be getting this. And then I started seeing my friends here on YouTube getting it and doing looks with it, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's actually kind of pretty. So ever since those videos started coming out, it's now been put on my wish list because it's a palette that I still see from time to time, and I'm like, oh, that is actually really pretty. That red in there looks really fun. I just go back and forth so much. So yeah, the Muse Beauty palette was definitely one that I had put like, oh, I'm not going to buy it. I'll wait and see what this brand does. I'm not super into the color story. And then once I saw everyone's videos, once I saw everyone's looks and the looks that they were creating, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I actually do want that. And so I put it on my wish list because of YouTube. Okay, this isn't a question that is in the original tag, but I want to add it because I just felt like it fit with the question that was just asked, number 8. So I'm making this 8.2, but it is wish list item you removed because of YouTube, because I feel like that's an interesting question. And for me, it's going to go to the Melt Cosmetics 420 palette. Because this palette, oh my goodness, when it was first teased, I wanted it. That color story looks so much fun. Everything about that palette, I was like, yes, yes, I want it. The only reason I didn't buy it when it launched was because it was a 420 palette and it's not really my vibe. But when it was, you know, teased and people started getting it and I started seeing the looks on Instagram and whatnot, I was just like, it doesn't look that bad. Like, the packaging isn't too overtly 420, and maybe it is, like, I don't know. It just, the cover looked more abstract, so it didn't look too in your face besides the name. I know, I was trying to like justify it, basically is all I'm saying. I kept trying to justify it to myself and be like, oh yeah, you can get that. Maybe I'll get it, I'll wait for a sale. But then I started seeing YouTube videos on it from my friends who said it was just super difficult to work with, and I was like, you know what, never mind. That right there, like, yes, the color story is gorgeous, but if I have to struggle with it, no thank you. So that is a palette that I took off my wish list because of YouTube. So question number 9, most affordable item on your wish list. This is really, really hard because, like I said, I don't keep them in a certain like list or anything like that. I just kind of like see a palette like, oh, I'd really like that, and then, you know, I move on with my day. But I think the most affordable palette that still kind of is on my wish list has to be the Beauty Bay pastel palette. This palette is $10, so really affordable. Again, I didn't go through every palette that I've ever put on my wish list in my brain and add everything up, but just like thinking back over the palettes that I really still think about and want, I feel like this is the cheapest. And I almost bought this palette when it did launch, but it was actually sold out by the time I kind of heard about it and by the time I wanted to try it. So I didn't end up getting it. I think it's available now, but I'm not going to get it because it's kind of just too late to the game. But something about this palette just really intrigued me. It was really affordable in my opinion to get 8 shades for $10. I like the array of colors, the blue, green, and yellow. For me personally, out of this whole palette, I would be super excited to use 5 of them. And then 3 of them, sure, I'll use them, the pink and the darker pink and the purple. I'll use them, but everything else I was really down for. So I was like, oh, this is a pastel palette that has a majority of colors I'm excited for. So I was going to get it and then it was sold out, so I didn't get it, but it is still kind of on my wish list because I feel like it's a cute little palette, and maybe if I ever purchase something from Beauty Bay, this is definitely a palette I can foresee myself throwing in there because it's only $10, so it is pretty affordable, and just throwing in there to try because the color story is just really cute. Question number 10, most expensive item on your wish list. Again, I'm trying my best here just on the top of my head. It would have been easy if I still had the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette on my wish list because that right there could have, I know that trumps all other palettes, but since it's not, I thought for a while, I punched in a couple numbers, and I finally decided I think the Playing with Makeup by Yolanda, the Jam Rocks No Limitations eyeshadow palette, I think that is going to be the highest on my wish list. Like I said, I think, but I'm putting it for this answer, and it retails for $50. So I feel like that is a higher price tag, and this palette gets me every time I see it. It's got such deep, rich colors, but still a lot of very fun pops of colors in there. I don't know if I'll ever get it because it is an older release. If I do want to try something from Playing with Makeup by Yolanda soon, but I think if I do try the brand, it'll be a newer release, so I can feature it on my channel and whatnot. But this is a palette that I feel like it's gonna forever be on my wish list because I really do like the tones in there. I love the richness of the tones and the vibrancy of the tones, but I don't know if I'll actually ever buy it. Okay, I know I'm doing it again, but I'm adding one more question. I know I've added 2, so it's like 12 to this 10, but I just want to add one more. Number 11 that I'm putting there is wish list item you can't get anymore. Something that you had on your wish list, but it's now discontinued and no longer available. And for me, I live with such regrets over not getting the Melt Vita palette. I think it was just called the Melt Vita. Maybe it had another word at the end. But this palette right here, anytime I see it, anytime I see anyone using it, or anytime I see looks with it, I'm just like, why didn't you get it, Katie? Like, why? And also too, like, I think one of the reasons I was kind of like, no, maybe I won't get it is because I feel like Melt's formula can be hit or miss, and I had heard a lot of misses before that, so I was like, you know what, this might be a miss. I'll just, I'll sit this one out. And then everyone got it and was like, oh my goodness, it's the best one ever. And then I'm pretty sure the Vita palette was like the first one out of the Vita and the Morte. The Vita palette was the first one out of stock, and so I really couldn't get it anymore. So I was like, yeah, there, it's just out of your hands. You can't get it anymore. But not gonna lie, I live with regrets that I didn't take advantage and pick up that palette because it's got such a gorgeous color story. So gorgeous, so vibrant, so beautiful, and anytime I see anyone using it, I have regrets. Alright, so those are all the questions for the wish list tag and 2 of the little ones that I snuck in there. If you have a channel, I would love to see you guys do this on your own channel. I would love to see it go around in the beauty community space because I think it's so fun. Like I said, it was really challenging for me to think on my wish list because I don't really keep it written down. But it's really fun to talk about palettes that you don't have in your collection and kind of like why you still hold on to it, why you're attracted to it, why haven't you bought it, that sort of thing. So I'd love to see more creators do this tag. And I should have said this in the beginning, but thank you so much to the beauty reviewer for collaborating with me on this video. And if you're coming over from our channel, thank you so very much for checking out my channel, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know I'm like saying hello and welcome at the end, but hello and welcome from the beauty reviewers channel. I really do appreciate you taking the time to hop over here and check out my channel. And if you're a follower of mine who enjoys Shop My Stash or Project Pans, I know I used to do them back in the day. I don't really do Project Pans at all. I can't remember the last time I've done one, and then Shop My Stash has definitely changed. But if you like the good old Shop My Stash and Project Pans, definitely check out her channel. I'll have it linked down below in the description box so you can easily find it. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's video. It was a very fun one, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you have any palettes that stick out that are on your wish list, or if you want to answer these questions, feel free to do that down below so I can read it later. But with all that said, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up on your way out as it helps me in the whole YouTube algorithm. And if you want to continue getting daily content from me, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92, and I upload there about every day. And with all that said, I will see you very soon in my next one. Bye guys.